In this session, we are going to go through one of the keys, one of like the big keys on how you can get 2 times the results from half of the input. I know for most people that sounds almost like a get rich type of a mentality, but it's interesting that we as people, oftentimes we'll doubt getting rich quick, and instead we will give credence to doing things through hard work. They say that actually comes down from our Puritan roots, where we see something, and if it appears easy, we really, really doubt it. And if it appears difficult, well, that's just something that we interpret as, well, if it's difficult, it must be worthy. And my hope is to not undo that completely, but just bring to this place and space where we're at, like the question of, is that valid here? Is that valid here? Is it possible for you to take something unique into the marketplace and create a scenario that makes it easier for you to gain wealth, abundance, than someone else? Or are you going to create that story, that scenario, that narrative that repeats like, well, it takes this much work to create this amount of output? And believe it or not, most of us are working from that. So the big key that we're going to be talking about today is professional pursuit. Professional pursuit is you seeing something, me seeing something, and saying, I'm chasing that. I'm going after that. And it's not what most of us are doing. If you're an entrepreneur, you've probably said, I'm chasing that and 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 that. And so you suffer from priority dilution, where everything is watered down. You move a millimeter in all directions and you never notice progress. So you always are avoiding the feeling like you're moving forward. Sound familiar? Our goal is to create a scenario that we can step into that allows for opportunity of victory. That's all. The opportunity for victory. Now, here's the truth. Any work that you do is either going to work or it's going to work on you. And as we step into any of the things that we're pursuing, there's going to be some things that are revealed. So we'll talk about all of the things that get revealed. We're going to talk about the reason why we're avoiding pursuit. And then I'm going to show you how to create a pursuit. And I'm going to give you a challenge that's going to have to help you to actually create clarity and purpose through your action. The Bible says that faith without works is dead. So believing something without doing it means, do you really believe it? In the circles of coaching, you'll hear people say, hey, it is not, if I have something, then I would do this, then I would be happy. It's more about, I will be happy, so I will do those things, and then I will have those things. And I agree. I do agree. I do think that we start with who we are as a being. And that should always lead to an action. To an action that comes from an energy. And so for you to be here, you should know some of your energy. You should know your personality. Like, what's your personality design? Some people get energy through fun. Some people get it through being right. Other people get energy by being engaged with something that feels like a fight. There's all kinds of things that are natural energizers to us. There's no greater energizer than purpose. What I want to do is I want to create clarity so that you're not taking 1,000 directions at the same time. I want to create clarity so that you end up with one pursuit. Okay. So a lot of you guys here have vision. You've done a vision board. You've gone through a goal sheet. You've done things that give you vision. These are the things I'd love. Pursuit is, rather than chasing all of the things, you decide on one. for a time. Right now, it's this one. My wife recently was coming to me and we were talking. She's doing some retreats for women, and she says, "Oh my gosh, the two of us need to get together and do this for couples." And we've been talking about this for years. And I'm like, yes, but not right now. I have one pursuit, because if you want to kill your vision, the way to kill a man's vision is you give him two. You give him a second vision or a third, fourth. I remember one of the things that destroyed my first business, Business Rockstar. Yeah, Business Rockstar. Was I had an abundance of belief, but I had an abundance of confusion towards direction. And so an abundance of belief combined with confusion and direction looks like this. I believe I can do it. I believe I can do it. I believe this is going to happen. I believe. Well, what do? I need to work on the website. Oh my gosh, I need a different video. Oh my gosh, I need to go and create business. Oh my gosh, I need to make sure that when people show up on the site, it looks right. It feels right. I need to make sure that my LinkedIn profile says this. Oh, I need to make sure. And so that's what confusion looks like. Confusion removes momentum. Clarity creates momentum. I had no clarity. And because I had no clarity, we went 8 or 9 months with no income before moving in with my parents. And here I am in my mid-30s, and I have 8 children, and my wife, and we're moving in with my parents. We're living in, half of us are in their double wide trailer, and then half of us, or 3 or 4 of us, we're in like a trailer, like a travel trailer they had parked outside. And it was from there that I was operating the base of all of my progress, all of my business. And if you look at that person should be motivated. I was motivated. If you look at that person was doing something. I'm looking at myself. I had belief, but truthfully, whenever you start to take action towards too many things, it actually waters down one of your multipliers. It waters down your belief. Belief began to go. Confusion began to arise. And the truth of it is that because I had so many things that I thought I should do, I really did nothing. And that's hard to admit, but a lot of you are there as well. And sometimes we mask that with the shoulds, right? Oh, no, I can't do this. I really should be doing that. But you never get to the thing that you should be doing. That's what it looks like when you don't have pursuit. I remember working with a guy named Ryan, and Ryan was determined, I'm going to grow my agency. And Ryan, he determined that there was one way he's going to grow. It's going to by recruiting, but not recruiting regular people, but by recruiting big dogs. And so together, Ryan decided, I'm going to become the executive recruiter. I'm like, yes, be him. What would he do? How would he? And so once you have the being, the question is what is the doing? And so Ryan was able to step in and say, this is what he would do. And I've got to tell you, it was part of it was very natural because he was doing things. Part of it was supernatural because like he was showing up, believing certain things, and you could tell that that's what he believed. And I've got to tell you, he recruited like top name people whose podcast you probably listened to were in his insurance organization. Crazy. Within 2 months' time, he went from, I don't even know, he probably had maybe 100 people in his agency. It blew up to over 1,000 within a few months. There's some other parts that happen along that journey, but that's what happens when we shift from this is who I want to be, and this is what I'm going to do. Clarity creates confidence, and that confidence, it gives us instruction. That is where we are going to get to. So before we get there, though, I want to say here are some things that might be stopping you? And it depends, some of it depends on personality type. Some of it depends on really how you were raised up until you were like 9 or 10 years old. Things that you came to believe about yourself and the world and how you should be interacting and worthiness and all of those things. So I want you to ask yourself this question. Are you more motivated by what you want or by what other people want? Are you more motivated by what you want or what other people want? It's not a trick question. About half of us, we're really motivated by what we want. And then the other half, we're motivated by what other people want. If you know who you are, it's actually a really good thing. But if you don't know who you are, you're always going to be looking at the other side of the fence like, oh, I really need to have better. If I want things, I know I want for other people. I want to serve other people, and in that though, we're saying, but I need to have my goals, and I need to get my thing, and I need to, and so we twist ourselves that way. And those of you who know what you want, you're operated by what people would say is selfish. You would say things like, "Oh my gosh, I know it's wrong for me to want this," and so you try to want to serve, or you try to want to be a giver, or you try. And what happens is in that mix, it messes up the clarity of your pursuit, and it messes up the energy that you come across as. And so you're no longer this genuine person who's operating in the integrity of who they are. You're a person who's pretending to be something else so that you can get what you want. And I'm going to say that again because that's most of us. We enter the professional world as people pretending to be other people so we can get what it is that we want. In a pursuit is best when it magnifies what you are truly driven by. So if you are a jester, if you're a companion, if you are a everyman, if you are a lover, if you are, there's a couple more personalities that are grouped into that. If that's you, probably more driven by pleasing others. A magician, that's or the shaman, magician. You're probably more driven by pleasing others. I'm a people pleaser. That's the worst thing in the world. Oh my gosh. It is if that's not who you are. Let me tell you something. It's actually okay to please people. It's good business to please people, okay? Then there's this other group, right? You have that warrior, you have the ruler, you have the sage, you have the what's that guy? Well, there's the explorer. What's the one that's always fighting? The outlaw. Like if that's you, you're driven by something inside. Now we all have a mix of like part this and part that because of our parents, our society, and who we are. But I just want you to look at that internal compass first and actually be real about that from energy. So here's the question. Are you better to go after a calling that you are worthy of, or are you better to go after a calling that's worthy of you? There's a difference, right? Are you better going after something that you feel like this is the calling and I'm trying to become worthy of my calling, and even though I don't expect anything of the world expects something of me, so I'm going to step into that. If that's you, embrace that. Okay? Embrace it. That's probably more me. It just is. I am a man of little ambition, but it's really nice to have a wife that wants things because it gives me something to wrap my natural abilities and pleasing and just go with the flow. It gives me something to wrap that around and gives structure and direction. Okay. If you're someone that says, I will do what is worthy, or what I'm worthy of. I'm already worthy of this. So I'm looking for a call that's worthy of me. I'm looking for a job that's worthy of me. I'm looking for something that's worthy of me. And it's like, okay, cool. Embrace that. But here's the trap of that is we can always judge so many things not worthy this isn't worthy of me, or I'm not worthy of that. And so depending on which side of that gate you're on, you're going to be evaluating yourself, and you never step into a pursuit. I do find it interesting, and we'll be referring to The Hero's Journey by Joseph Campbell lots of times. I do find it interesting that a big part of almost any story we ever read has to do with the hero is called to action and they deny the call. So almost all of us have a built-in reason to deny a call because our brain is trying to conserve energy. We're trying to just maintain our comfort, whatever it is. That's what calls us to stay. So the calling to stay must be resisted in order to have a pursuit. And that actually brings me up to the second reason that we're going to get into today, is a reason. Are you in this for you or for the world? But I guess your place of comfort can keep you. Okay. So if you're a fighter, you're comfortable with conflict. You might be creating conflicts for no reason. If you are that lover, love and that connection, that can be the thing that actually causes you to avoid stepping into your pursuit. Well, if I do this, I won't have love. If you're an explorer, you're going to be afraid that all of your choices, all of your freedom get taken away because you're stepping onto whatever Christopher Columbus's boat was, right? You're stepping onto the boat, Christopher Columbus, and you're like, well, now I can't explore mountains. So the explorer has to find that pursuit, but to do that, he removes himself from the comfort of options. Okay, some of you are so wrapped around knowing the right things to do and all the steps and all this stuff that will keep you there, right? You sage personalities, you shaman people. If you think it doesn't have meaning or purpose or whatever, you won't step into it. Potentially. Jesters. I just want to play. I want to be at play. And if something threatens play is your place of comfort. Again, that can be something that removes us from our pursuit, so that our greatest place, our place of homeostasis, actually can stop us from stepping into something that would bring greatness to us. And really, Gay Hendricks calls this an upper limit boundary. So you are assigning yourself, I will do this until that. And so we assign ourselves these boundaries and we avoid pursuit. And all it is avoidance. Now, let me talk about the final thing, and then we're going to get into how do we create this. So I'm not trying to be heavy on you, but this is just truth, guys. Number 3, you've learned how to be an actor. You've learned how to be what it took to get what you wanted. And so you fulfilled the first and most noble pursuit, that first purpose, which is survival. Great. But a lot of times we enter in and we learn that survival through, I'd act like someone else. And that, my friend, is dangerous. So we learn that people love it when we're fun, or people love it when we push and we fight, or people love it when we have all the details, or we bring peace, or whatever it is that people love, and that's how we get acceptance, and that's how we win, and then that's how we build our identity. But when you go home, you're exhausted. Or when you are alone, you're like, I don't even know who I am. Or you're trying to sell something and you're like, I don't believe myself. And so if that's you, being willing and taking permission and making a bet on yourself and saying, I am willing to step away from all of the things that have won and give myself, my true self, a chance to breathe in this. Carl Jung said that the ultimate reason for knowing your personality type wasn't so that you could realize, like, oh, I'm a hero, I'm a fighter, so I'm only going to have conflict. It's really to know that and then to integrate it with these other parts. So actually, you learning to act like someone else is great as long as you bring your true self back to that table and you can integrate both of those into the same person. And I know that for some people that's like, well, it is. But I would say most of the times, look at the people you know. Most of the times we're pretending to be someone because that's what you're expecting of us. maybe that's you. And if it is, there's an energy that's taking from you. I remember, you guys have all known my well-documented story when I decided to stop being the sales warrior and to become the joyful farmer. It gave me energy. It gave me life. It gave me something that I felt like I was. And it created results. So results from, not results to. That's the whole idea of a pursuit. And so to get over the line on that, within the other ones, I think it's you calling out and saying, I'm stepping into another identity of myself. I'm stepping it right now. I'm wearing glasses. I don't have a prescription. I'm the professor. And this is me stepping into being the professor as best as I can imagine, how he looks, how he acts, how he thinks, how his room would look, all of those things. This is me moving in that direction. The professor. Who can you step into that feels like it's integrous with who you are? And then what pursuit would that person have? All right. So now we're getting into that. So being real to you, giving permission to yourself to step into something. And then now, let's talk about the good stuff. Let's talk about how can we create that? How can we move beyond? The very first thing I think is to see yourself. Again, hopefully I've helped you to do that. I would ask you, what do you want? And usually if we were to do a vision board or an exercise where I ask you 50 questions, and I will give you 50 questions. If you come back to this video, and there'll be a link below for the 50 questions or 44 questions. Ask yourself the questions and do it twice. Do it once, and then come back a day later and then do it again, because what's going to happen is your logic, your ego, whatever that person that's in the front of your thinking is, you're going to give an answer, and at the beginning of it, it's going to be what you're supposed to say, what's expected of you, what you think. But then what happens is if you'll go through that again and kind of look at the periphery, look at what's on those edges, you'll see truth. And you'll ask yourself things like, who do I want to be? What do I want to do? What would I really like to have? What would I love to accomplish? Where would I love to go? What are the adventures I'd want to go on? What would make me feel cool or have fun? Or what would make me feel like an authority? Or what's something I want to accomplish? And so you'll ask yourself these questions, understanding that the quest is born in the questions. And as you go through those questions, what will happen is a direction will begin to form, and you'll start to see possibility. Possibility feels like energy. It feels like vibrance. It feels like the moment my wife on the rooftop of Mexico said to me, hey, what would it look like if you didn't make calls for the company I was working for? What would it look like? What would it feel like? And all of a sudden I just had possibility. Well, I would do this and I could do that. And I was living in this land of vision and energy, and it felt great, but that's not pursuit yet. Okay. Because now it's like you look at all the things that are possible. We want to find one thing that we want to make probable. So out of all of the things that are now in your little dream cloud, if you were to look at that and say, you know what would be the most meaningful for me to step into, to create, to embrace, to have, what would that one thing be? Okay. Now you have a possible pursuit. I say pick 3. Pick 3 of the things that would be most meaningful, most impactful, most effective for you. Then, and only then, some of you sage and fighter and ruler personalities, like you already were lost because you're trying to figure out how. No, couldn't do that yet. You have to look at what's possible, the dream cloud. Then we go from what's possible to say, hey, here are some things I could see that are within reach. They're like these could be probable. Okay. And it is interesting that a lot of us have vision that we don't think is probable. So it's not activating us. So we find the things that we think are probable. And then I recommend dancing with another individual in this, bringing someone else into your thought, into your whiteboard, into whatever, and inviting them to give input and feedback. And then from that, choose one thing that you will take strategic action towards. That, my friend, is a pursuit. Some of you guys, my hands are tied. There's so many other ways and so many other lead sources and so many other things I can do. And it's like, I've got to tell you, yes, and stay here for 30 days, for 60 days, whatever. Like, give yourself a time limit of saying, like, okay, I will do these other things, possibly, but I'm gonna press into this one thing until something happens. That is how you find a pursuit. Now I'm going to tell you this. I wish that I could say it's going to work out for you. Well, you know what? I can say that it will work out for you eventually. Well, sometimes immediately, sometimes later, but always eventually. This will work for you. Here's what happens when you choose a pursuit. You choose a quest and you say, for the next 60 days, I'm going to work out, or for the next 60 days, I'm going to bring in this many new clients. For the next 60 days, all of your energy, all of your focus goes in that one direction, and you start doing it. And here's it's going to reveal one of a few things. It's going to reveal, oh my gosh, why didn't I do this thing sooner? It's so effective. It's so powerful. It could reveal, I hate this. I hate myself. This is not genuine. This doesn't feel right. And everything in you is going to scream to stop. Don't stop. Don't stop until you get to your committed time. But it's that, a lot of times it's that second, it's the latter, where we feel the pain and we quit. Somewhere in the middle of that, I believe, is your purpose. When we find something that gives us joy and produces results, it is connected with who we are. And really, that's the thing we're meant to bring. It's like, wow, I was made to do this. It feels like breathing. When you're doing the thing that feels heavy, it's going to make you look in a different direction. Finish your 30 days, your 45 days, your 60 days, and notice how it's always going to be making you look over this moment to the next. Notice that it's going to say, I wish that I wasn't doing this. ... What does it make you wish you were doing? What does it make you wish you were doing? A lot of times that's the image of home. That's the image of what we're being called to. And it's from inside. But the only way that we get that revealed is by stepping into something that either produces results or produces the pressure necessary. There's a third thing that will happen as you step into a pursuit. And this is amazing. You will find amazing things waiting for you. For those of you who don't know the story of the Tuttle Brick, go look it up. The story of the Tuttle Brick. Amazing things will wait for you along the way. Amazing people will be drawn to what you're doing, and they will create something that you couldn't have created on your own. They will work with you to help you move in the direction you're trying to move into. When I look at our journey to sell, I was looking for my book. When I look at our Sell Anywhere journey, I look at what happened as we were doing that. The most powerful things, like, it's funny because as I'm doing all of these workshops for these sales teams and salespeople, what I was supposed to be saying, and I did say it, unfortunately, what I was supposed to be saying and what I did say was, it's because I'm so great at sales and I'm like giving all like these things as though I'm some professor of great wisdom with sales and selling. But the truth of it was, I got help along the way. I got help from people who gave me a chance. I got help by friends that I found along the way. Sometimes there was financial stuff that I couldn't do on my own. Someone showed up. Sometimes there was a way I couldn't find out, and someone showed up. And I guess what I'm saying is, in the realm of the pursuit, you are going to fight some battles, but you're also going to find some friends. The pursuit reveals you, and the pursuit reveals others that are the company of people that are to move with you in your destiny, in your destination. So my challenge to you is this. Go back and look at your vision board. If you don't have a vision board, I'll provide a link that will that will help you to create a vision board. I'll provide the link for the 50 questions. But go from possible, right? Dream up possible without creating any rules around it. Then look into what's probable. Come up with one thing that you're willing to give yourself to for 30 days. Determine to put it into your calendar. Determine that you give yourself, it is called commitment. Find someone to commit to. Okay, connect with someone. Say, here's what I'm doing for 30 days. I just want you to know it because I have to tell someone. Don't post it on Facebook. You don't need to do that. Okay, find someone. Well, you know what? If you're a Facebook post it on Facebook. Whatever it is. I don't care. Whatever makes you feel connected and challenged to do this thing. Find your pursuit. Begin your pursuit, and watch how you are either rewarded for your pursuit or you're altered by it. And both of those are a part of you stepping into who you're meant to be, doing the thing that you were meant to do.